Welcome back to Game Galaxy, and man, 2017 was an insane year for video games. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like 2017 had the most video games coming out every 2 seconds, just drowning you, with so many good quality games. And the amount of time that I work, this has been an extremely busy year for me with the film that I'm working on right now. That amount of busyness and the fact that I play a lot of retro games, and I'm playing games from previous years that I've just stacked up. There's only a handful of games that came out in 2017 that I actually played, and when I say played, I mean fully completed from beginning to end. So there are tons of games that I maybe started or tried them out, like Breath of the Wild, but I didn't complete it. So Breath of the Wild, I played about 8 or 10 hours, and then I got out of it. And that's not a game you just step away from, come back, and know where you're at. So I'm gonna have to restart that, and I'm looking forward to that actually, because I just got a Switch, and I got Breath of the Wild on the Switch as opposed to my Wii U version. So I'm gonna just start over from scratch on the Switch, and that'll be a great time. But what I wanted to talk about, I wanted to just come on here and ramble about all the games I did play in this year, whether or not they came out this year, and just to look back on them and talk about each one. And as far as, I'll take this time to, when I think about all of the games that came out in 2017 that I actually played and beat, I have to say my most fun probably and surprise would have been Poi, that 3D action platformer that I did the review on. If you haven't seen my review, I highly suggest you check it out. It's a fantastic platformer. It's on PC, PS4, and now the Switch. A great option for the Switch, especially if you have kids. It's a fantastic 3D action platformer. That was probably the most fun, but the game that probably stood out the most to me was The Last Day of June. That really hit an emotional chord in my chest, and I thought that game was a work of art. And when it comes to works of art in the year, in my eyes, and what I look for, I think Last Day of June would be it. Now, Finding Paradise came out in the beginning of December. That is the sequel to the Moon, the game I always rant about, and what made me open my eyes to indie games. I unfortunately haven't started it yet because I've been too busy, and I'm probably going to play that this weekend or within the next year. But I'll be playing it very soon and hoping to review it here on the channel. But let's get started, and these are in no particular order. But I have some physical games, and then I have a list in case I forget. Somewhere I have a list of the digital stuff I played. So within this year, I played through the story of Mortal Kombat 10. That's Mortal Kombat, this is the XL version, which just had a couple bit of extra things. Man, this game, fantastic. I felt like it went kind of under the radar. Like Mortal Kombat 9 had a much bigger fanfare. This is a great game. I mean, the guys at NetherRealm Studios, that's who makes these, right? Yeah. Fantastic engine, man. The fighting is so tight, if that's the right word, and it's so great. And the story is pretty epic on this. So Mortal Kombat XL was awesome. My most recent finished game is Sonic Forces, and I actually enjoyed this a whole lot, and I'll be doing a review very shortly on the channel for this one. So take a look out for my Sonic Forces review. It's an awesome game. So I finally finished the last Ezio game, which is Assassin's Creed Revelations. This is the triple Ezio pack for PlayStation 3. I would like to get the PlayStation 4 one in the future, just to have them in a better way. But it was Revelations, man. I blew through it probably a little too fast. So I hope to replay that game in the future. But it was I don't know about how I feel about that game. I didn't feel like it lived up to the hype, but I guess it was a good ending to Ezio's character, and it's just also so sad in a way. He was so fantastic, and by far, I mean, I love Assassin's Creed Rogue and Shay Cormac, but without a doubt, Ezio Auditore is the best Assassin's Creed character of all time, and then Assassin's Creed Brotherhood especially, fantastic game. That's probably the most fun Assassin's Creed game I've played to date. So, with that, I finally took the time to go back and play the original Assassin's Creed game. And let me just say, not a big fan of this game. I appreciate what it did and the genre and the franchise it created, but man, was it repetitive. It's like, go here. It's like you can either eavesdrop, beat someone up, or pickpocket over and over and over again, and it was very redundant. And I don't know why everybody else in the game had a decent voice acting and they all had accents, and then the guy who plays Altair is like this monotone, worst voice actor ever. I don't know who it is, but he sucks. You suck. You're a bad actor. Like, no, tell me what it is. I will go. I will kill him. And I don't know. Altair wasn't a very likable character for me either. He was just cocky and didn't really like it, but glad to have done it. Battlefield Bad Company, the original one. Now, I had done Bad Company 2 years ago, but I was like, you know what, I should do the first game. It was alright. I think this would have been a much better experience on PC. I did it on PS3, and I would say not good optimization for that console. It was kind of clunky, but I had my fun. It was good. Star Wars Battlefront 2, of course, this is a big thing going on. Much like the first game, man, I do not think it's worth the money. Mainly because I don't play online as much, and if I can't play with my friend especially, it's not fun to me doing these matches anymore. And the story, I don't know, I was talking to my friend about it, I don't know if it's just I expect more out of first-person shooter these days as far as the AI goes, but the campaign just felt like a bunch of fighting bots in a map, essentially. They just feel like stupid, and it wasn't very cool. Maybe I like more scripted events in my first-person shooters, like Call of Duty. I'm not sure, but I even said to him, I was like, Jedi Outcast, which is an older Star Wars game, I'm like, in my mind, the AI in that game, which was built on like Quake 3 engine, the AI in that game was better and smarter. Or am I just nostalgically thinking so? I don't know, but it was all right. And then the expansion story I just finished, was not a fan of it all. I hate Aiden's daughter. I don't like her character at all. Not good. Call of Duty World War II did not disappoint. Well, no. Let me rephrase that. It was a great game. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought finally they wrote a story with characters I could actually care about, unlike the last couple. But where it did disappoint is like way too short, and it just makes me sad that it's an absolutely gorgeous game, and there's a few set pieces like when you're running through the forest and it's just like bombs are going off. It's so insane, and it just makes me wonder though that it's like, is that kind of visual fidelity and experience does that just cost so much money that you don't get a length of a game, or is it them being lazy? It might be have them being lazy, but I will say this game dropped the ball on the D-Day mission, which it starts you on. It's not intense, it's not good, and the sound design is totally lacking. Medal of Honor Allied Assault, which I've talked about on the channel before, did the D-Day much better, and I say that with confidence even in 2017 here. It is a way better D-Day experience, even with those Quake 3 cheesy graphics compared to, Call of Duty World War II graphics. It doesn't matter. That game had sound design and calamity, and it was just much better. So really missed opportunity for D-Day on this, and it was disappointing. But overall, the game was enjoyable. I have since uninstalled it because at this point in my life, I don't have time or the interest to be doing online matches. The time for that has passed. I guess I'm too old. So this next game I absolutely got hooked on, and that's Dragon Quest Heroes. Man, this thing is so addicting. It was just the perfect game to throw on and just hack and slash. It plays like any of the Dynasty Warriors type games, and just a fantastic game. I've only ever played one Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest game, and that was the original Dragon Warrior that I played on Game Boy Color. And it's made me very interested in the world of Dragon Quest, and I'm looking forward to actually playing through some of those games. I think I really want to play Dragon Quest V because I liked the character Bianca from this game, and I'm interested to see that. But I have someone I work with that is saying, oh, you gotta play Dragon Quest IV, that's like the best one. And then also, I've been wanting to play Dragon Quest VIII for years, and I've recently purchased that, so I'll be probably hitting 8 first, we'll see. Now this game, again, another 2016 game, I finally took the time to finish it, and that was Far Cry Primal. I 100% completed this game because I have OCD and I just have to, and Ubisoft somehow makes me be able to want to do it in their games. But while it's not as enjoyable as a normal Far Cry game, I did enjoy it and had a lot of fun with it. The only thing is, that, again, I feel like, I don't know if it was just me, but when you are climbing up things and the frame rate wasn't exactly full, I feel like it wasn't full 30 frames per second. I feel like it would dip down because after a long time of playing this, I would start to feel like sick, like motion sickness. But fun game, enjoyed running around and being a crazy person in that. Probably my most favorite experience of the year, even though I said Poi was the most fun, my favorite experience was finally getting some time off work in between jobs and finishing the Final Fantasy 15. I actually made a whole entire video called Final Fantasy 15 is Awesome, where I talk about my time with the game and how much fun I had with this game. I think I spent about 105 hours on it. I 100% completed it, and it was just great because I hadn't been down with the Final Fantasy games lately. I didn't like 12. I'm gonna give 12 another chance in the future, but it was just, it was such a great, love letter to Final Fantasy fans and people that have played it. And I just really got into the characters and liked it a lot. So I have the episode Ignis DLC to still do for that, and then I'll be donezo. So that'll be good. And then Mafia III. This game, fun gameplay. It's hard for me to explain. Fun gameplay, had some of the most disgusting, visceral, realistic reactions to gunshots I've ever seen in video games. Like it was fantastic animation, but it's like, man, you shoot someone, it was like, oh, it was so gross, but yet so satisfying in terms of just the art of it. And I know that sounds weird, but this I had fun with it, and it had fun gameplay, but at the same time I wasn't happy because to me this was just not a Mafia game. You weren't really involved in the mob that much. There wasn't that much mobbish things. Sure, Lincoln is taking down the mob, but it just didn't feel like a Mafia game. And I really think like the game that nails like the mood is Mafia II, where it's like that winter and in a New York City environment. The whole environment here. The only really fun thing here was like taking on the redneck gangs, and I absolutely loved this one mission where you basically go shoot up a KKK rally. That was a whole lot of fun. So that's probably the high point of the game for me. But I will say I'll have to give it some social credits that the game did something. It touched on that time period and the uncomfortable things that happen regarding race relations and whatnot. One thing, I understand why they did it because we're in this hypersensitive culture, but I was like, really? You guys have to put this message? There was like a little disclaimer that came up in the game that said, hey, language will be used in this game, blah, 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 but we wanted to be, we wanted to be true to the time period, but this is all made for that. And it's like, this has been a few years ago, you wouldn't have need to put that in there. Like, everyone would have had a brain and be like, I get it, it's the 60s, they're gonna use the N-word. But it's like, man, I guess they'll have to use the, a disclaimer now, or somebody will be upset about it. But, there's also, beyond the whole KKK thing, there was an extremely uncomfortable scene of, there's this group of people that are like, basically in the South, like still kidnapping, African Americans and selling them as slaves, and you bust them up. But it's, there was just one scene where you're eavesdropping on an auction, and it was kind of, I was kind of amazed that they did such a scene, because I was like, wow, that's a powerful kind of thing to make. I mean, unrealistic. Hopefully that never happened in the 60s, but really weird. Also, there's a bit of a fan servicey ending. I don't know how I feel about it. It felt good, but it also was fan servicey. I don't know. If we get another Mafia game, I just hope it gets a little more to at least the setting of like a big city, not that like New Bordeaux, New Orleans thing. It didn't quite feel well. I played some great arcade games this year that I never had played before, and that was a great Capcom gem, Black Tiger. It was recommended to me to my boss, actually, and it was just a fantastic game. It was challenging, but it was totally worth all the struggles I went through for it. Also played a fantastic beat 'em up I never heard of before, also by Capcom. and that was Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Man, that game is fantastic. I'm going to be talking about some of these arcade games in the future, and I've really gotten into arcade games recently, and that's thanks to a great arcade in Pasadena called Neon Arcade. They've got fantastic classic arcade games. You can pay them $10, they let you play for an hour, and everything's on free play. It's fantastic, great way to do an arcade in my opinion. But also the Raspberry Pi has offered me an easy way to play main games without a lot of hassle. And I've got myself a USB arcade stick. Oh man, it's just awesome. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of those in the future. But what were the games you guys played in 2017? What was the best game that came out in 2017 that you played? I'm sure for a lot of people it is Breath of the Wild, because I was amazed at how much I liked it. But that's Nintendo. They keep surprising me. It's not, they're killing it, knocking it out of the park. But as far as 2018, what are you guys looking forward to? I can tell you, I am looking forward to a bunch of things. I'm looking forward to Dragon Ball FighterZ. That looks awesome. The Shadow of the Colossus remake I'm so excited for. I wasn't at first, but I am now, because it just looks absolutely beautiful. And I think it's great. That is such a great game, and that is the game that blew my mind and caused me to buy a PlayStation 2. I am so happy that great game is being brought to a whole new generation of gamers who might have missed it on the PS2. So I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see Far Cry 5. I'm looking forward to that. I love the Far Cry series. The one that I only really liked though was Far Cry 3. So I'm hoping it can be like the fun and have a good story like 3. But it probably won't live up to that. That story was just fantastic. Looking forward to the Secret of Mana remake on PlayStation 4. That looks just awesome. I actually am trying to finish that game before it comes out, because I've always played it on and off, but never have completed it. So trying to get that done before that comes out. So please share with me what was your favorite game that you played in 2017, whether or not it actually came out this year or not, and what you're looking forward to come out in 2018. And in 2018, I'm looking to do a lot more videos than I did this year. I apologize, it was so sporadic and thin this year. But like I said, the movie I've been working on has been the busiest I've ever been on. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any videos in the future, and I'll see you next time.